Hey guys, welcome to a brand new day of Road to TCG World 2017. As you can see from the image that was right on the screen a few seconds ago, TCG Castle is having a promotion where you can trade in 1400 bulk for a full Sun and Moon TCG booster box. Sorry. So if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. I'll leave the link that's directly to the deal, just in case you're interested, guys. So today is Mega Mewtwo Day. Now, also in the description down below is the link to the analysis of the deck list that Igor Costa used last weekend in order to, well, not last weekend, the weekend before that, in order to get second place at Dallas Regionals. The full analysis is there. I talk about his card choices, the amounts and the consistency he used, and how it worked out for him in the end, even beating a Mega Gardevoir deck in the semifinals. So yeah, I just want to jump right into the games so that we can enjoy a couple extra games perhaps. By not just going too in depth on a deck list that I have reviewed just last week. I have featured Mega Mewtwo quite a bit on the channel, and they've all been the Mega Mewtwo Garb versions with the Psychic Energy. I could feature the Fairy Mewtwo as well, but I did use that in the stream, I believe, last Wednesday, or it might have been Friday, and yeah, I still think this is the best version of Mega Mewtwo though, because damage change is essentially healing, and it gives you a ton of possibilities in different matchups. I mean, sure, the Fairy Drop healing is quite nice, but if for some reason you discard the Fairy Drops early on or something, you really don't get any benefit out of them, whereas damage change can potentially be a game-changing effect, and you can even forego the Mega Mewtwo with the Stadium and simply use the regular Mewtwo with a damage change attack. So it gives you a lot more options, I believe, and I still think this is the best Mewtwo version. So immediately my opponent has a Magyarna. Now, just to thin out my deck a little bit and to potentially save the Shaman, I'm gonna attach the DCE and I'm gonna attach the Spirit Link. This means that not this turn because I'm going first, but next turn I will get back all of these cards which are useful for a potential Mega Mewtwo, a turn 2 Mega Mewtwo, or turn 3 rather. Now with the Ultra Ball, I don't know what deck my opponent is using. I believe it's gonna be Vileplume Toolbox. So knowing that, I might just forgo the Mega Turbo and the Super Rod, and I'm gonna search for Hoopa. Yep, I'm gonna search for Hoopa, and my intention here is to find a Floatstone for that Trubbish. That's our number one goal for right now. So I'm gonna search for 2 Mewtwo's and a Shaman to keep drawing a few more cards. And we also have that Trainer's Mail, which, as you will see, I'm gonna Shaman before using Trainer's Mail. And I've talked about this in a few of my videos before, because if I use Trainer's Mail before Shaman, I don't know, the game froze a little bit right there. If I use Trainer's Mail before Shaman, sure, I get an extra card off of Shaman. But if I draw 4 and then I look at the top 4 cards off of Trainer's Mail, that gives me effectively, I'm looking into 8 total cards to try and find that Floatstone. Whereas if I don't do that, I would only be looking effectively at, I guess, 9 different cards, but the ones I look at right now off of the Trainer's Mail could be repeated off of the Shaman. So by doing this, I'm actually digging a bit deeper into my deck, just a little bit, and it's something very subtle, but I feel like it's relevant enough to mention. So I didn't get the float, and the trainer's mail doesn't find me the float either, so didn't really make a difference. And thus, I guess I'll grab the N. And I'm gonna play the parallel CD. I'm gonna limit my opponent's bench because that might make it a little bit difficult, a little bit more difficult for him to set up the Vileplume. And I'm gonna grab the N back, just in case he does get the turn 1 Vileplume out. So yeah. There's a level ball, so it is yeah, it is a Vileplume deck, and hopefully he won't get the turn 1 Vileplume, otherwise we might struggle a little bit because we don't have too many energy. He does have the Stadium immediately, he does have the Gloom immediately as well, so now he's just missing the Vileplume, and wow, that could just be the Vileplume right there. Discards a Shaman even, and a Skyfield. Wow, that's an interesting inclusion in that deck. Very interesting inclusion. Very, very interesting. I mean, I understand why you would want Skyfield, because your bench gets so compact if you end up using Shaman in order to draw cards. And he's actually running Hoopa as well, so definitely not the standard version of Vileplume box, or the one we are used to seeing, or that has seen some success at tournaments. Although ever since Orlando, I mean, sure, Vileplume Toolbox keeps appearing at tournaments and keeps making cuts for day 2, but not for top 8. I don't think we've seen Vileplume Toolbox in top 8 beyond Orlando, the first regionals. Okay, so Hoopa finds him a Mew, another Shaman, and a Glacian. So the Mew is an issue, I'm not gonna lie. The Mew is definitely an issue. We really need to find those psychic energy now. I don't think it's even worth it to go for a Mega Mewtwo at this point. And Shaman Loop is also another option against my opponent, because he would be forced to copy Machiarna's attack in order to KO a Shaman, and that way he would free up the attack for us to use Mega Mewtwo in order to KO Mew. So it might be worth it to power up one Mewtwo and one Mega Mewtwo. And it's also gonna take a while for him to... It's gonna take at least 2 more turns for him to attack. He does Lysander up my Hoopa though, but doesn't get the Shaman. I mean he doesn't get the Vileplume. Now what do I do here? He chose to Lysander over Sycamore or something like that. I could discard this DCE and get back the Spirit Link and the DCE and use Sky Return. I don't really want to use N right here, nor Sycamore, I don't think. Or maybe Sycamore is the right play. I mean, I still attach the DCE there. And I should have 2 more Mega Mewtwo's, I believe. I did see off of my first Ultra Ball, so let's just do this. Okay, so we find a Spirit Link, which is great. We find a Float Stone, which is also great. And we find a Parallel CD. Now, if I use the Parallel CD, he can easily get rid of the Hoopa and the Shaman. So I don't really want him to do that. Trainer's Mail will find me versus Seeker, which I do like, because I can get back another supporter before he gets the Vileplume online. I'm gonna grab the Sycamore. And then I'm just gonna retreat and Sky Return with Shaman. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I get back the Spirit Link, I get back the TCG, and I also, I generally don't think my opponent can attack me next turn. So I'm gonna promote the Trubbish, which is a bit risky, but I still feel like it's the best play. If he retreats, there isn't any one energy attack he could copy to KO Trubbish, at least for now. If I had played the Prowl City and then he countered and played down another basic Pokemon, then maybe he would have been able to bench something that could have KO'd me. Gets rid of a Jolteon, a Regice, which is the best news ever. Seeing that Regice in the discard pile is really good news. And we're gonna see the Vileplume now. We are actually going to see the Vileplume. So what I'm actually going to do myself is play the Prowl City but limit my own bench so that I can get rid of the Hoopa. I think that's my best play here. I do think that is my best play. Or is it though? Okay, I definitely attach energy to this Mewtwo. And then okay, do I get rid of the Hoopa or not? That's a question here. Maybe not. Huh. Fine, let's do this. I'll limit my opponent's bench, I guess. And then if I somehow find Garb, I will actually be okay. So I'm gonna bench the other Shaman, I'm gonna retreat, and I'm gonna promote Shaman. Because my opponent, I'm not gonna use a supporter just yet because I do have so many energy and the basic Psychic energy, which are really good right now in order to get the KO on the Mew. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have limited his bench. He only should have, well, maybe 2 more Forest of Giant Plants, maybe only 1 more. I don't know if he runs 5 total stadiums or only 4. Well, there's immediately the counter. So if he runs 2 Regice, we might actually be in a lot of trouble. Although we can damage change, I guess. We can do that too. We can Shaman loop as well. If my opponent decided to KO Shaman right now, wouldn't be the biggest of deals, because then we would promote Mewtwo and KO Mew immediately. There is a Dragonite. Oh, okay. So he's gonna get back the Regice most likely. He will probably get back the Regice here. Yep, Regice and Shaman. Okay, so playing the stadium, not our brightest idea for sure. Okay, like I said, we can still go for the deck out though, and we might eventually draw the Garb, and whenever he decides to maybe take a KO, we can then KO with our own Mewtwo. So we don't deal damage, but we do we do prevent a KO, so we're pretty okay here. My opponent does use an end, so we're not gonna be able to find our Shaman potentially next turn. How many ends has he used though? Just the one. That's the first end. Okay. Oh no, that's the second end. Okay. So now what do I do? Still no Garb. He doesn't have space for Manaphy now though. So if I do this, I mean, it's even worse for him if I promote Dragonite, I think. But I'd rather go for the Vileplume. And I'll attach an energy to the Mewtwo, I guess. And I will pass. You want the Psychics on the Mewtwo. In an ideal world, I would set up 2 Mewtwo's with 2 Psychics each. Or one with 2 and the other with 2 and a TCE, so I can use damage change if he decides to use Resistance Blizzard, or if he decides to take a KO through Machiarna's attack, then I can KO right back. So it's one of those two, and he might retreat here, so I'm gonna have to use a Sycamore here. Okay, we get a ton of energy, which is really good news. And I could even save my Shaman. And I think that's best. Or maybe not. Maybe not. No, I think it's better if I do end up... No, I generally don't know. I genuinely do not know. Can't believe I haven't drawn Garb though. If I drew Garb, that would be amazing. Okay, will he have another energy? 1, 2, yeah, he probably will. Okay, I'm gonna save the Shaman, I guess. And yeah, I'm gonna promote Koopa. Just to buy those extra turns in order so that I can attach enough energy to my Mewtwo's. I know this is a very slow-paced game. My opponent didn't have an energy, and now he's even closer to decking himself out. And we do find the Garb. Now, we do find the Garb, and we even find a Shaman. We find the Garb, but we don't find too much else, really. My opponent has to use Resistance Blizzard here. Yeah, he will go for the safe move. But now, if with Garb, Mew can't attack either. So sure, I didn't use Shaman, but I really don't mind that too much. Mew is now useless, and so is Vileplume. If I had played Shaman down before Garb, I would have drawn, what, 2 cards? And wow, I do get a ton of energy right there. Now I wish I had attached the Spirit Link to the other Mewtwo. And... I mean, it might still come to a deck out. But the fact that Mew is no longer an option for him to KO me is really good. Really, really good. And at best, he can 2-hit KO Garb right now, unless he powers up Machiarna. And he should only have maybe 1 Lysander left. So, I feel pretty good. Wow, he chooses to use Replace. Chooses to use Replace, which... Oh, he gets to rearrange the energy. That's pretty nice. It's definitely pretty nice. Not the biggest of deals though. Really not the biggest of deals. It does move the Rainbow to the Glacian, which is perfectly fine. And then probably the DC to the Regice, I would imagine. But as I mentioned, he has less cards than I do. So I don't need to win by prizes. I just need to be patient here. Wait, what? Why did he discard the... Oh no, he left the Rainbow on the Mew. Okay. I'll just attach energy. I mean, I could even attach energy to Garb, honestly, in order to damage that Regice. That might be the best choice here. That might actually be the best choice. And I'll just pass. Really no hurry. Really no hurry. Sure, he takes 2 prize cards right here. So his last 10 might give him less cards than I have right now, maybe. I mean, eventually though, I only have 1 Berserker left. I mean, eventually I will have Garbodor powered up. So what I need to do right now is just stall. That's all I need to do. I need to stall with my Mewtwo and just use damage change. The only way he can prevent this is by flipping a ton of heads in a row with Ice Beam. And am I really gonna power up Garbodor? Am I really going to power up Garbodor? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, let's do damage change then. So I get to heal, and I don't think in over a year of the channel, I don't think we've ever attacked with Garbodor. Offensive Bomb. Confusion is really good. Like the poison and confusion deal is really, really good. Not gonna lie. And we actually have access to all our psychic energy right here. So my opponent must be wondering right now, who do I power up to counter this Garbodor? Nope, he's just gonna go for the Resistance Blizzard. Okay. So there's another TCE. Yeah, let's just retreat and let's attack with Offensive Bomb. Let's attack with Offensive Bomb. We get the poison, we get the confusion. And if my opponent wants to attack, it's a 50-50 chance to deal 70 damage. If he chooses to go for Ice Beam and doesn't get the head slip, then we will be in a good position. His hand is so big though. Wow, this is a really weird game. But it's really good to find this like alternate win conditions against such a deck. You know you need to do something different. Okay, so my opponent hits himself in confusion. He hasn't attached any energy, and now is where I can freely go for the Mega Mewtwo and just start wreaking havoc on my opponent. I believe there's really nothing preventing me from doing that. I don't think. I don't even need to spend my Mega Turbo. And yeah, I mean, should I though? Because he has Glacian. So maybe I should play it safe. Just in case. I'm gonna... No, I shouldn't have used damage change. Never mind. I'll just KO Rage Eyes right here. I find a Lysander, which is also nice. That's my second Lysander, so I have 1 Lysander and 1 Berserker left to get 5 prizes total. My opponent decides to promote Vileplume. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So he probably wants to sacrifice the Vileplume, which I might take him on that deal. I might actually take him on that deal. There's another Rage Ice, but that's fine. We have Garb to deal with Rage Ice. He also hasn't attached any energy, and he just passes. Okay, he simply passes. I reckon now's the time to just go for one-hit KOs, because I want one-hit KO right now. What would my opponent gain from having item cards? I generally don't know, but it might be too late for him at this point. I'm just gonna KO the Vileplume right here, and then I have 1 Lysander and 1 Berserker to take my last 4 prize cards. So that should be enough to win here. Even if I can't one-hit KO, the... Wow, he attaches a DC to Mew, despite the fact that he cannot copy any attacks. We might see a concession right here. He has no ability. Garbodor stops Mew, right? Yeah, he can't use... Okay, he's gonna Ninja Boy. What's he going to get? Shaman. Okay. That's fine. It's really no big deal. Like I said, I have enough resources here to just win outright. He's using up more cards as well in case of the deck out. And I mean, my opponent right now is playing to not lose rather than to win. And he does decide to give me the Dragonite, which is really weird. I can't damage change though. I can't damage change, which would be awesome. But I don't see anything wrong here with just going for the Psychic Infinity. I generally don't see anything wrong. If he decides to attach energy somewhere, I can just Lysander to ensure he doesn't get it. He does decide to attach to Glacier now. But I can simply Lysander, attach an energy and get the KO right there. So it's not a problem. It's generally not a problem. Vileplume is back online, doesn't matter. Garbodor is right there. Garbodor is right there, and he's using up energy, or rather resources, for a potential end to prevent a deck out. Like, I could generally just not attack this Dragonite ever again. I could simply do that. And with this energy, I will get a KO on the Glacian. There's no way my opponent can deal 110 damage at this point in time. And I'm down to 2 prize cards. The Dragonite is damaged. I'm dealing 160, so I can target the Jolteon as well. And or the Machiarna. So that last Verse Seeker is going to net us the win right here. That last Verse Seeker should net us the win. And this is another advantage of using Psychic Energies. If I were using there's a Jirachi, there's a Manaphy, there's a Sceptile. Wow. If I were using the Fairy Energy, I would not have had access to Shatter Shots or Damage Change, so that's pretty big. And wow, my opponent plays an Ace Trainer, which only makes it even more likely for him to deck out. And as I mentioned, Garb can deal with the Regice, no problem. So yeah, there's really nothing my opponent can do here. He has to sacrifice something right here. Probably the Vileplume. Decides to promote the Jirachi. Okay, I will take that. And I mean, I could Sycamore here. Yeah, there's no reason to play for the deck out. I mean, yeah, there's no reason to play for the deck out. I'm just gonna grab the Trubbish, I guess. My last DC is there. We know the Verse Seeker is there, so I'm just making my deck thinner. We're gonna draw 7, we're gonna be left with 6. We're gonna be down to 1 prize card. There's the Versus Seeker. So in order to prevent another situation like that one, and to prevent any weird Lysander shenanigans, I can just do this. And then I take my KO, and there's absolutely nothing my opponent can do next turn to prevent us from winning, except an N or something like that. But that's pretty much the only thing he can do here. It's pretty much the only thing he can do here. There's no way for Regice to deal 110 damage. He does have the end though. Okay. No big deal though. As I mentioned, no big deal. Still no risk of decking out. My opponent has the least amount of cards of both of us. And okay, sure, you got an attack off, you powered up your Regice. I just need to go back into my Garbodor and deal with that Regice, no problem. Literally no problem. He gets poisoned, he gets confused, no matter what he does. He can only retreat. Well, okay, he can retreat to remove the confusion, but then what does he attack with? Whatever he promotes, Mega Mewtwo KOs. And he even flips tails once again. So that's the game, guys. We played very patiently, very patiently. And yeah, with the poison damage and the confusion damage, that's enough to get the KO. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Yeah, pretty unorthodox game, I would say. I mean, I'd be happy with a win, like with a win right there at something like regionals. I mean, maybe that game took way too long for something like a best of one League Cup round, but at something like a regionals, that game probably would have like it's been almost 30 minutes of video for a single game, and at a regionals, you'd probably expect to take, I don't know, what would you say? Probably 40 minutes? 40 minutes or so? 45? So then you'd have 5 minutes for the game to, for the round to end, rather. And there's no way Vileplume Toolbox beats you in a game in under 5 minutes. Just absolutely no way. You'd have to start Trubbish and nothing else. And just dead draw for 4 turns or whatever. Okay, so we see a Mega Turbo, we see Water Energy, and we did see Psychic type. So I have a feeling this is gonna be something like Mega Blastoise Garbodor or something similar. Probably not Mega Gyarados because of DCEs, and actually no, never mind. The DCEs doesn't make sense with Mega Blastoise unless it's the Generations Blastoise. I will bench the Trubbish that I drew, and there's a Manaphy. So maybe the Psychic type is just Hoopa? But then what are the DCs for? Is it Glalie or something? Mega Glalie or Glalie deck? Something like that. Whatever it is, I'm not too worried, honestly. As long as things flow normally. One hit KO potential versus non-one hit KO potential. Oh, okay, so it's Mega Rayquaza. Never mind. Never mind, guys. Okay, now I'm actually okay with the fact that he went first, simply because I have the Paralysis CD in my hand. So if he uses up a ton of resources right here and benches a ton of Pokemon, limiting his bench is gonna really limit his damage output, because he doesn't want to spend a turn using Brox this early on, and then he won't necessarily have all the Dragonite EXs available to him immediately. So yeah, I mean right now he would only lose the Shaman and the Hoopa, but odds are he's going to want to use more Pokemon and more abilities. There's a Spirit Link, very nice find. That will allow him to Mega Evolve immediately without losing the turn. So yeah, this should be an interesting matchup, and I have a slight feeling Mega Rayquaza might be due for a comeback soon. I really feel Mega Rayquaza might be due for a comeback because Mega Gardevoir did so well at Dallas, so that's why what I think it might be worth it. And yeah, he just used up a Dragonite, which I'm perfectly content with. Really have no issues here with what my opponent is doing right now. Really no issues at all. No issues whatsoever. There's a Mega Turbo. So he gets the Rayquaza powered up immediately. There's another Spirit Link. Yeah, pretty sick turn. You can see my opponent is down to 26 cards in his deck, so he dug through half of his deck at least. Okay, that Mewtwo EX is probably not going to last here. I find the Float Stone, which is absolutely great, so I can immediately attach it to Trubbish, and then let's play the Paralysis CD, limit my opponent's bench. He will get rid of the Hoopa, the 2 Shamans, and the Dragonite, most likely. That's what makes sense. But that's 120 damage output off of Rayquaza's field. And then let's attach the TCE to the benched Mewtwo and let's draw 4 cards. And I do find another stadium. I find Sycamores, but I really wouldn't want to get rid of the Mega Mewtwo though. Okay, I'll have to check. Yeah, there's only one Mega Mewtwo right there. That's not good news, guys. That is not good news. It's definitely not good news. So I really wish we could have gotten an in. I mean, I do have the Super Red, but I can't. I don't think I can afford to. Like, I'm probably gonna have to lose it or pass the turn. Probably gonna have to pass the turn, like the next turn. Just Mega Evolving, attaching energy and Mega Evolving, which will give my opponent an extra turn in order to recover from the Parallel City. But then if he plays a Skyfield right now, I can counter with Shrine of Memories to limit once again his damage output. There's another DCE. There's a Super Art immediately. So very nice for my opponent. Probably will be able to recover off of the Parallel City, which makes sense. Definitely makes sense. It's what you'd expect. And there's a Verseeker for a Sycamore. Okay. Okay. 21 cards. There's another Spirit Link. There's a Mega Ray. Now, if he doesn't counter Stadium, okay. I am actually okay with this. I'll probably have to lose a turn right here. I will probably have to lose a turn right here, but I have a feeling my opponent will be really, really hard pressed to. I mean, sure, he will get the KO off of this Mewtwo, but then I will 1-hit KO him right back. And if he does Skyfield right here, I will have the Shrine of Memories to counter that. And he does end, so that's even perfect, even more perfect. It's pretty polarizing how we still have 36 cards left in our deck and my opponent has 19 only. But we're gonna have access to Garbodor as well, so that will really slow my opponent down, which is amazing, really, really amazing. Still no counter either to a Stadium, and after we get Garb down, his Shaman will no longer work, his Hoopa will no longer work, so we are pretty good here. We are generally pretty good. I just need to find one energy to ensure I can get a 1-hit KO right here on the Mega Rayquaza, and that's more than I could ever ask for. And in order to accomplish that, I'm gonna thin out my deck as much as possible. Losing the Mega Turbo kind of hurts. I will have the other Mega Mewtwo down immediately. You could make an argument that going for a Shaman was a good idea in order to draw extra cards, but it's fine, guys. I mean, we really should be able to find out one energy off of this end. We do, thankfully. I got a bit nervous right there for a second. And then there's the energy, there's the the float stone on the Hoopa, and I mean, we could even potentially do back-to-back 1-hit KOs with Mega Mewtwo onto something else, onto the next Rayquaza rather. And as we do have a Lysander in our discard pile, we still have all 4 Verseekers right available to us. So yeah, my opponent does find the Skyfield immediately. I do draw my second Parallel City off of my prize cards, which is great. There's a Mega Evolution. So if my opponent manages to fill his bench, like he needs all 8 bench spots to 1-hit KO my Mega Mewtwo. I don't think the odds of that happening are very high. I would like to think so at least. Here's a Super Odd, which he should put back the Mega Ray if he doesn't have another one. maybe it's priced or something. Otherwise, he should put back all 3 basic Pokemon. But I mean, if he's going to Sycamore right here, and he does, if he's going to Sycamore for 7 cards, he needs 6 of those cards to be basic Pokemon. Otherwise, he will not one-hit KO my Mewtwo. So the odds of that are very, very low. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it actually does happen. 3. Okay. So does he still have 3? Okay, no. He only deals 150 damage. That's perfect. We get another back-to-back KO here on the Mega Ray. And we can even limit his damage output once again. By making him discard more Pokemon. Probably both Dragonites, which I'm perfectly okay with. And I'm thinking if maybe... No. I should always KO the Mega Raid right here, right? I'm gonna attach to the Mega Mewtwo. I'm gonna play the Hex Maniac just to thin out my deck, in case he does end me. Because I might actually not be able to get a 1 KO back on this Mega Ray this upcoming turn. I will KO this one, but I might need 2 attacks to KO that Mega Ray. But at this point in time, with so many resources used up from him, I generally don't think he's going to be able to 1-hit KO my benched Mega Mewtwo, which I am perfectly okay with. And yeah, this video ended up with 2 pretty long games, but pretty good ones, I would say. Okay, so my opponent's deck is now really thin though. Really, really thin. Right now he just KOs Mega Mewtwo, but he used Sycamore, so as long as I find a DCE or another Mega Turbo and another Energy, I will be good here. I will be good. And yeah, there's the Emerald Break for another 150 damage. That's perfectly fine. Let's promote the Garb. And we still have 1 Mega Mewtwo in the prize cards, which is not ideal, but not the end of the world either. There's a Mega Turbo, and then let's Trainer's Mail for the Spirit Link, so that I can thin up my deck just a little bit more and make sure that if I do draw the Super Rod, I can potentially power up a 3rd Mega Mewtwo. Although he's down to 2 prize cards, so never mind, that's actually not gonna matter. But I did find both Mega Turbos, so now I just need 1 energy, no matter which one, and I find the DC, so that's more than enough to KO the Garb. And there we go. I sent him a heart and he sent a broken heart. I'm sorry, man. But yeah, I mean, if I didn't hit all of these cards off of if I didn't hit an energy off of the Sycamore, I might have been in trouble, because if he had an N, he might have been able to just Lysander up Shaman and KO that for the win. So it was closer than it looked like, I would say. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it from me today. Only two games, but the first one was really good. I feel like the first one really showcases how to think outside the box in order to win. Like, many people try to rush out their strategies. Like, if you're using Mega Mewtwo, you're trying to take quick prizes, you're very energy efficient and things like that, but then you really have to take a second to analyze, like, sure, I can go on the offensive and I can build my Mega Mewtwo this turn, but in a longer game, how am I going to beat my opponent? That's something very important, and something that I think really not too many people think about, and it's what really differentiates between like the really good players and the best players, because the best players always have a long-term plan. They're always looking at their win condition towards the end of the game. You play with the cards you're dealt with during your turn, but then there might be some moves that are not too obvious in some points, simply because you're playing for the longer game. And that's why I didn't need to Mega Evolve right away into Mega Mewtwo's in that first game. I just needed to conserve energy. I powered up Garbodor to deal with Regice and things like that. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. As I mentioned, check out tcgcastle.com if you are looking to trade in some bulk for booster boxes. They have a pretty good deal right there. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much, and bye-bye.